And we're live. Morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of FPL Focal. It's the Gameweek 23 deadline. We're an hour away until the deadline. How's everyone doing? Captaincy's a nightmare this week. I still haven't actually decided who I'm going to leave the armband on, which is not a good position to be in before going live. But at the moment, I've got it on Son. It's a bit of a hunch, Son, because obviously Spurs have been terrible lately. But I think Mourinho's in trouble if they don't get a result here. So yeah, like I say, it's just a hunch that Spurs turn it around. So I do think Spurs get a comfortable win against West Brom, and you'd think Son would be involved. So at the moment, I've got the armband on him. I'm interested to know who you guys are captain though, because this week there's a lot of good options. There's no standout really. I think Son's viable, Bruno's viable, Antonio's viable. There's some differentials like Grealish and Grealish and Rashford. Einar says I sold Barnes for Son, captain and Son, starting Cancelo and Diaz, starting Justin over Dallas. I'm ready to get hurt again. I think those are good moves. I like the Barnes to Son, captain Son. Me and you will be in that together, captain Son. So let's hope he comes good for me and you both. James, how we doing? Samsey, morning. Dylan, how we doing? Kieran says Mr. Focal. Mr. Paul, how you doing? Mr. A, morning. Adam's in the chat. Good to have you, Adam. Dylan's going captain Grealish. Very nice. So I think Arsenal v Villa is a good game to target actually, because Arsenal obviously missing Leno following the red card he got against Wolves, and they're also missing Luiz because he got the red card as well, and they're also missing Tierney, so we're missing a few players at the back, so there could be goals for Villa there. As an Arsenal fan, hopefully a high-scoring game, but an Arsenal win. I'll take a Watkins hat-trick, but Arsenal 4-3 win. Kieran's going Bruno. Carl, how we doing? Just changed to Sun before I jumped in. Oh, welcome to the Sun Club. I suppose it's fitting because the title I ended up using for this video was Sun's last chance to shine. So in a way it is, if I leave the armband on him. But I was really divided this game week. I think Antonio's a really good pick, and so is Bruno. So there's a few really good options. Samsey asks, as an Arsenal fan, do you rate Runnison? I don't, to be honest with you. No, he's not been great when he has played. Maybe just needs to find his feet a bit, but he's put in some dodgy performances, which is why I think that we signed Ryan on loan from Brighton, because he's not reliable enough as our backup. Which makes sense, you know. Why else would we sign someone like Ryan, who, you know, he's still a very capable keeper. Why would we sign him if we believed in Runnison or Runarsson? I'm not actually even sure how you say his name, but I think he's probably third choice right now. So, yeah, I don't rate him. And Ryan, of course, injured as well, so it's going to be Runarsson in goal. Joey, how we doing, mate? Einar says, I think Arsenal missing David Luiz actually improves the defence. Do you think so? I mean, he can be a complete wildcard player, Luiz. You don't know what you're going to get from him. He can put in an absolutely class performance one week, and then he can just have a howler the next week. But yeah, you just don't you just don't know what way you're going to catch bipolar Luiz. I think we're going to miss him, to be honest. I'm not even sure who will play centre back. I guess it'd be Holding and Gabriel. Kieran asks, is Ryan starting instead of Runarsson? No, Ryan's out injured, so it's going to be Runarsson in goal. I'm not even sure who fourth choice keeper is. Maybe Matt Macy, but I'm not sure if he's gone out on loan. Dylan, DCL to Antonio, Johnston to Pope -4. No, I don't like the DCL move, purely because game week 24, Everton have got a double game week, which is something I'll touch on this stream. Pope I do. I like the Pope move because, again, Burnley have got the double game week. For anyone that missed it, I've sold Robertson, by the way. So Ben Mee has come in and straight into the starting 11 for me. Pun not intended there, where I said he's straight into the starting 11 for me, but he is in my starting 11. Brighton at home, and then he's got the double game week. Palace away, Fulham at home. So I've brought him in targeting that double game week. So is there anyone else you can downgrade for Antonio Dillon. Because the problem is, once we get to Gameweek 24, you'll be wanting DCL back. So it's just not really a logical move. You definitely want to hold any double Gameweek players you got in 24, because it's only 2 game weeks away. Stuart would like to captain some, but Spurs have been so awful recently. Yeah, you're dead right. They've scored 1 goal in their last 3, I think. So they've really struggled without Kane in a nutshell. There has to be because of Kane's absence. Maybe the tactics haven't been right as well, but Mourinho's under a lot of scrutiny. I was reading the Spurs subreddit, and the fans aren't happy. People are already calling Mourinho out, so he has to get a result here, and I think it needs to be a convincing result. If this is a 1-0 to Spurs, I think the fans aren't going to be any happier. So therefore, Son is my captain. I do think they'll turn it around and get a result. Which he asked, bench DCL or Soufal? That's a tough one. So I'm playing 3 at the back, so I had to start Soufal or Stones. I'd probably start DCL. Kieran got Rafinha as a differential. I like the Rafinha pick. I'm strongly considering him for Game Week 25 because Leeds have a double game week in 25. Let's do a quick news roundup before we crack on with the rest of the show. So Alisson is expected to be back in goal for Liverpool. Likewise, Fabinho could be back at centre back, and possibly their new signing Kabak, who's on loan from Schalke for the rest of the season. So that would mean Henderson back in midfield. So I think Liverpool have been really missing Henderson in midfield. So if that is the case, then I think they'll do a lot better in the coming game weeks with Hendo back in his best position. No real news on Man City. KDB's still out. Ake's not available. Aguero's not back yet, still working back to full fitness. So no KDB just yet, but I think he's at the back of a lot of our minds ahead of double game week 26 and any other double game weeks coming, because City have got a few to come for the round of the season. One player who is back, Jamie Vardy, the forgotten man. I love Leicester's fixtures coming up. He could actually be an outstanding differential, which is crazy to say when talking about Vardy, but yeah, off the back of his injury, he was obviously mass sold, and a lot of people have downgraded him to cheaper forwards like Bamford, Watkins, DCL, Antonio. So could be a massive differential, Vardy, especially because they've got a decent run of fixtures. An update on Zaha. He picked up an injury in their last game in Game Week 22 and had to go off, and he's going to miss the trip to Leeds. It's a hamstring injury, and Hodgson said that it could keep him out for much longer. So good news for any Leeds defensive owners. I suppose there's a few Dallas owners, Melia. Good news for them because Palace aren't nearly as good going forward without him. He is the focal point of their attack. And I briefly mentioned Arsenal earlier, but as we know, Leno's out with a suspension. David Luiz is out with a suspension. Matt Ryan, the keeper they signed on loan from Brighton, he's out. So probably Runarsson in goal. And Tierney's continuing to be assessed, but he's unavailable for today's game. An update on Newcastle, who have got Southampton. So Jamal Lewis, Lascelles and Fernandes won't make it, is what Bruce said. I think Newcastle had to clarify on this. Lewis might have a chance of making it, but it's Lascelles who's definitely out and Fernandes who's out. So could be a good game for anyone that's got Adams or Ings still. I'm sure Southampton will be keen to get a result off the back of the embarrassing 9-0 defeat. But yeah, on the subject of Southampton, so Bednarek's red card that he got against Man United has been overturned. So he's actually available to play for Southampton, and I imagine he will play. But FPL don't retrospectively update points for things like yellow cards and red cards, even if they are overturned. So unfortunate for Bednarek owners, but his -7 stands, I hate to say. Would you ask follow-up question, DCL or Watkins? If that's who to start, Watkins. as we saw just now, Arsenal missing 3 players in their defence, so could be goals for Villa in that fixture. Thank you everyone that has tuned in so far. Really good turnout. Adam, Dylan, Einar, Fadsley, James, Joey, Kakpa, Kajik, Kieran, Carl, Ollie, Ratsk, Wuchi, Stuart. Good to have you all here. Some new names there and some familiar names as well. Nevis, you got 90 points in Game Week 22. You're smashing it, mate. Kieran asks, Sterling to Sun for a -4. Is it worth it? Not sure on the -4. Not sure on the -4 to drop Sterling, to be honest with you. If someone's going to be your captain, and you know, if you think he'll outscore Sterling by 4, then absolutely. But it's hard to say if he does, because you know it is a gamble. Spurs have been poor, 1 goal in their last 3. I'm gambling with him personally. I think Spurs finally get a result against West Brom, a good result. It needs to be a comfortable result. You know, a 1-0, like I said, is not going to make Spurs fans any happier, especially those that are calling Mourinho out, which is actually quite a group already calling for Mourinho's head. So let's have a look at the scout picks for Gameweek 23. So the scouts gone Pope in goal, Cresswell, Shaw, Justin, Bruno captain, Maddison, Son vice captain, Souček, Wilson, Bamford and Lacazette. What are your thoughts on the scout pick this week, chat? Stuart, are you planning bench boost in Game Week 26? I'm not actually sure yet. It would be a fairly obvious move if we didn't have a double Game Week 25, but I was thinking about this, and the thing is that Southampton and Leeds will have a double Game Week 25, and they won't necessarily have a double Game Week 26. So therefore, I may bring in Leeds players in 25 and then Wildcard 26 instead, and then bench boost maybe in 27 or later in the season, because otherwise you're missing out on double game week assets essentially. That's my early thoughts. I haven't decided yet, and of course I will confirm on later streams, but that's my early thoughts. Might not be the best way to utilize the chip now. And one thing that is often forgotten is people will say if you wildcard right before a double game week, then you can bench boost a nice double game week team. But often is the case that you end up with 11 or 10 or 11 double game week players. So therefore, if you think about it, your bench is going to be single game week players. So by that logic, if your bench is single game week players, then it's the same as bench boosting in any week. Obviously, you can prepare for it a bit better with a wildcard, but there's no reason not to use it a couple of weeks after that. And that enables you the alternative option to wildcard directly into the double game week, as opposed to doing it a week before or a game week before. Adam says, if I bring in Souček, I know he will blank. Yeah, you're probably going to curse him for all the Souček owners. Kitty, I didn't see you in the chat. How you doing, Matt? Lacker and Wilson are brave. Are they? Why? Scout looks like a template player. Yeah, I think there's some pretty obvious picks this week. They usually go for a few. Oh, you mean Lacker and Wilson on the scout picks are brave? Yeah. Well, Wilson's got Southampton at home, good fixture. Lacazette playing Villa, he's been in decent form. You never know. But yeah, I would have definitely gone Antonio over Lacazette if I was picking the scout pick team. D Venkat, will Chilwell start? Probably not, to be honest with you. Since Tuchel's come in, Chilwell only started one, and that was the very first game that he was in charge. Since then, we've seen Alonso playing left wing back in a 3 at the back formation. So I would say probably Alonso will start. I don't think they've even conceded a goal since he's come in, Tuchel. Yeah, 3 clean sheets in a row. It was game week 20. That was Tuchel's first game in charge, and that was when Chilwell played. 21 Alonso played and he scored. 22 Alonso played, kept a clean sheet against Spurs, which is a very, very good result. Adam K, how we doing, mate? Carl asked Madison or Lingard. Madison. I think it's too early to jump on the Lingard train. But I was surprised to see him start first of all for West Ham, but also to see him score a brace last game week. Dahlia asks Zaha to Rafinha. Yeah, I like the Rafinha move. If you don't have Triple City, I think Gundogan's an even better pick because he's got a double game week, literally next weekend. Joey says Alonso is definitely favoured over Chilwell right now, unfortunately. Yeah, I think Chilwell suits a 4 at the back better, while Alonso suits 3 at the back with wing backs. So as long as Tuchel's playing that 3 at the back formation, I think Alonso will be preferred. And it's working so far, so you can't imagine that he'll mix it up right now. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So an update on the Kings of the Game Week. I haven't shared this yet from Game Week 22, but Wan-Bissaka joined the Kings of the Game Week. So the streak continues. This is getting ridiculous at this point. The streak continues of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 defenders in a row. Or 9 defenders in the last 10. It's just the game week where we finally see the streak end, and someone who's not a defender joins the team of the Kings of the Game Week rather. And interestingly, we're still yet to have a repeat in the Kings of the Game Week. All 22 so far have been unique players, and we've seen some big names in there already: Salah, Son, Bruno. Could we see a repeat? Eccentric scientist, love that name. Son, Antonio, or Bruno for captain. That's a really tough one. I've got all 3, and I'm in an RO myself because they're all really solid picks. I've gone Son personally, but it really is a coin toss. If there was a 3-sided coin, I don't think anyone can confidently say which one will do better of the 3. I really like the Antonio pick because he's a differential as well. 22% owned. Differential, at least in comparison to Bruno and Son. Bruno's 58% owned, and Son's very similarly owned, 55% owned. So Son and Bruno's effective ownership is going to be a lot higher than Antonio's. Only for fun, how we doing? Venkat asks, who should I sub for Chilwell, Watkins, Stones, or Gundogan? What do you mean? You want to bench Chilwell, right? You don't want to start Chilwell. I would start Watkins and Gundogan if I had to pick 2 of those 3. Daria asks Rashford or Sterling. Is that for captain or to bring in? I prefer Rashford as a captain pick between the 2. Sterling's got a horrendous record against Liverpool. I think he scored 1 in his last 10. So not great. But let's have a look at the Goalscorer Odds for Game Week 23. So Son's actually top on the Goalscorer Odds, 49% chance of a goal. Followed by Bamford, 47% chance. And then Salah, Ings, Vardy and Giroud are all on 45%. This assumes that the players start, so Giroud would be 45% if he actually starts that game. Followed by Aubameyang, Bruno, Rashford, Lacazette, Martial, Cavani. So Son's actually the favourite to score this game week, according to the bookies. But are the bookies baiting us? Do they think, people will bet on Son, but Kane's out, and it's actually going to reduce the chances of a Son goal. Anyway, onto the clean sheet odds for Game Week 23. So Spurs are actually the highest in terms of clean sheet percentage, 45% chance, followed by Chelsea, who are away to Sheffield. Man United at home to Everton, decent percentage chance, 39%. Brighton away to Burnley, surprisingly, 38%. I thought that was quite high, Brighton away to Burnley, but I suppose this is with Brighton's recent form in mind. I think they've kept 4 clean sheets in the last 4, including that upset at Anfield. And Burnley not particularly high scoring game, so perhaps that's why. So if you've been living under a rock, the major news that came out before going into this game week is that there is a double game week in 24 and 25. I cocked the dates up when I made this, so it's not the 6th of February. It's not this weekend. But if anyone missed it, these are the double game week fixtures in 24 and 25. So Burnley, Fulham, Everton and Man City have a double game week in 24. And in 25, Leeds and Southampton have a double game week too. So those are teams to target, teams to bring players in. And I did actually post a short video yesterday, I think it was, just on the fixtures, which players to target, that sort of thing. So that's on my channel if anyone wants to watch that. And this is a full look at the fixture ticker for the coming game weeks. If anyone wants a copy of this, there is a link in the description to this ticker. Burnley have very good standout double game week fixtures in 24, Palace away and Fulham at home, which is why my move this week was Robertson out and Ben Mee in. There's definitely some players from all 6 of these teams with double game weeks to target. And one thing I've mentioned on recent streams is if you're planning to wildcard in 25 or 26, then now's the time to take a punt, because if it goes wrong, you've got your wildcard to reverse back out the decision. Whereas if it goes right, then good for you. You've flown up the ranks, and then you can use your wildcard to get the players you actually want. So yeah, as I say, there's a link to this ticker in the description. It's quite a useful thing to look at, a nice way to look at it. And this is Ben Crellin's diagram of the double game weeks coming and the possible double game weeks. So 24 and 25, you see here, we know what those fixtures are. And then 26 is going to be the biggest double game week of the season, so that's the one to target and to wildcard. But we don't yet know what those fixtures are. So Ben Crellin speculated here what they could be, and he's included percentage chances. So what this basically means is these are the percentage chances of these teams blanking in 29. And if they're blanking in 29, then that means the fixture almost certainly moves into 26. So you can see there's loads of teams that potentially have a blank in 29, which is why 26 is going to be the biggest double game week of the season, because all the teams have a free midweek, which is where the fixtures can slot back into. Sorry if I've missed any messages. Milmo says start Vardy or Gundo. Probably Vardy. We don't know whether he will start or not, but you can't be benching Vardy, right? You'll kick yourself if Vardy does start, because if he starts, you fancy him to do well. Which he says there's rumours of a double game week 29. Not that I'm aware of. 29 is going to be the big blank. Maybe there'll be a few fixtures that slot in there as a double, but 29 is likely to be the blank because of that game week clashes with the League Cup, I think it is. Yeah, as Einar says, we'll know what double game week 26 is before game week 25, because the FA Cup is played between 24 and 25. Thank you everyone that has tuned in so far. I've got 32 here. If anyone's not subbed to the channel, do hit the subscribe button. Be good to have you back on future streams, and leave a like while you're here too. Helps others find the channel. In addition to those fixtures that we looked at just now and potential double game weeks, there's also 4 fixtures that are still yet to be rearranged in addition to those. So Villa have got 2 home games yet to be rearranged. This is something to have at the back of your head, because they're going to want to rearrange these for as soon as they can. Likewise, Man City have got a fixture to be rearranged against Southampton, and Spurs have got 2 away games. So we don't know exactly when yet, but I'd say the likes of Son and Kane are going to be must-haves once those double game weeks come around, and they could come thick and fast, maybe back to back. And you definitely want to have the likes of Son and Kane because you'd fancy them to start both games in any double game week, especially Kane, I think. Morning, El Padrino, with the tea emoji right as I sip my own tea. Or is it a coffee? Chat, are you more of a tea guy or a coffee guy? Or neither? Or Red Bull? I'm more of a tea person. I needed one this morning as well. The delivery man came at like, it must have been about 8 o'clock this morning. I was still in bed, so I literally had to roll out of bed, chuck some clothes on, go down and get it. And then by then I thought, oh, there's no point going back to bed. So I made a nice strong tea. Ninja likes a tea. Matt likes a coffee. Nevis likes a coffee. Aiden likes a tea. Very divided on the tea and coffee debate. Milmo likes a tea. Tea just edging it. Wuchi likes coffee. I think that's 3 or... Adam's tea. El Padrino's tea. It's got to be tea for the captaincy then. Just edging it. I've got some expected goal data for the last 4, which I wanted to share. The last 4 game weeks. These are the top 5 players in terms of expected goals over the last 4. So Antonio is actually top for expected goals with 2.86 over the last 4. So I had a look at the data, including assists as well. And Antonio's at the moment got an expected goal involvement every 90 minutes. So basically every game he plays at the moment, he's expected to have a goal involvement, which is amongst the highest in the league. Watkins is up there as well, 2.74, so just behind Antonio. Mane, Sterling and Hayes is up there as well. This is courtesy of FPL updates and tips on Twitter. Good account to follow. And he gave me permission to use these graphics. He's also made one for expected assists. Now this one's interesting. So Bruno's top, 2.31. Second over the last 4 game weeks is Luke Shaw with 1.86 expected assists. Luke Shaw's been putting up ridiculous numbers in recent game weeks. He's created more big chances than anyone in the game. Gundogan up there as well, 1.8. Really strong option, Gundogan. He was something that we recommended way back. Must have been 3 or 4 game weeks ago, and he's been a great pick for anyone that did pick him up. Bamford and Mane up there as well. So Mane, despite missing, I think it's 2 games now, really strong expected goals and expected assists numbers for him. So hopefully we'll see him back this weekend. We are just under half an hour until the deadline. How's everyone's captaincy looking? I guess we should finally get onto the captain poll soon. If anyone's not voted on the poll in our Discord, don't forget to do that. And if you're not in the Discord, there's a link in the description. If anyone's not in the Discord, I have to plug it because it's genuinely a really good FPL resource. I'll show you the sort of stuff we've got in there. This is all automated by bots, so we've got price changes. So actually it was a bit of a massacre last night. A lot of players fell in price, and a lot rose as well. So Rashford, Bruno, Bamford, Justin. A lot of popular picks here rose last night. Sanchez from Brighton, 4 clean sheets and 4. He's gone up to only 4.5. Some more channels we've got, lineups, the live scores, injury updates, bonus points, game week stats. So this includes things like the most captain, vice captain, chip usage, top 10k stats. Look at this from game week 22. Sorry to bring it up, anyone that captained Salah, but I am one of those myself. 80% captain in the top 10k Salah was. And this is a brand new channel from last game week onwards. So it's called Insider Trading, courtesy of FPL Insider on Twitter. And this is basically players and staff, and it's any transfers they make in their FPL teams, which concerns the team that they're from. So you might remember back in Game Week 21, I stumbled on the fact that Robbo transferred out Mane for Son in Game Week 21, and this was before there was any Mane news. So a bit of insider trading there. So this is quite a cool channel, and it's something we'll track in the game weeks that come. And there's a few more channels in here, like the news and new players. Anyway, onto the captain poll. I haven't looked at these results yet, so this will be interesting to see. So Bruno is top with 45 votes, followed by Antonio with 38, and then Son with 29. And then after that, there's not much in it. Bamford's got 5, Grealish is on 3. 10 people voted other. Is there anyone in chat who voted other? Or your captain's not on this list? If so, who did you go for? There's so many options this week. You know, I put together the captain poll and about 10 names sprung to mind, but I think there's a lot more I've forgotten here as well. But yeah, it's a very divided game week, this one. Very divided. And in fact, I haven't put the vote in myself, so I'll do that now. Captain Son. Oops, I think the stream dropped down there for a sec. My bad. Brownie says Souček is a shout for captaincy. Yeah, Souček, I forgot to put him on the list. He's definitely an option as well. I think Antonio is the more option if you want to go down the West Ham route. But Ninja's voted Lingard. You got Lingard captain. God, what a shout. What a shout that is. Very bold. Hope it pays off. I mean, the start to his West Ham career alone couldn't have gone much better than last game with the 2 goals and all 3 bonus. Good luck to you with the Lingard captaincy. Joey's moving Chilwell to Shaw. I like that. Brownie's asking Justin or Dallas. Is that who to start? I forgot who had the highest clean sheet odds. So Leicester had a 34% chance of a clean sheet. Leeds 31. So yeah, I would go Justin. And he's shown in recent game weeks that he's got the attacking threat. So anyone in chat bench Justin last week? I think a lot of players benched Justin last week, and he ended up on 15 points. Very unfortunate. El Padrino, currently it's on Antonio. Oh, I really am so divided this game week, and it's not a nice position to be in because you start to doubt yourself, and I think Antonio is such a strong option as well. Do I go Antonio? Or Bruno? Or Son? I think I should leave it, shouldn't I? I'm going to kick myself if I start making last minute changes. The last time I made last minute changes and said on stream what could go wrong, everything went wrong. So I'm leaving it. I'm not touching it. I'll leave it the armband on Son. Vice Antonio. Speaking of Antonio, actually, I've got some data comparing him and Watkins. And Antonio's been completely blown out of the park recently in terms of expected goals, assists, expected assists, shots, chances created, big chances, and FPL points. So Antonio's a really, really strong option. And doing the Robbo to me downgrade enabled me to go Brewster up to Antonio. So those are the 2 moves that I made this week. And I'm very happy to have Antonio. And then in 26, once West Ham's fixtures turn, I can easily just hop back off to someone like Bamford, or maybe I'll upgrade to a premium on the Wildcard. Also got a comparison between Salah and Sterling. Again, this is over the last 4 game weeks. And Sterling's been putting up the way better numbers. Salah's been so disappointing in recent game weeks. He was my captain in 22 and obviously blanked against Brighton. But Sterling does have a very bad record against Liverpool. But I'll tell you who does have a very good record is Bruno against Everton. He's only played against Everton twice, but he's scored 3 and assisted 1 in those 2 games. So there's not much data to go off here, but Bruno's got an outstanding record against Everton. Bruno does worry me because his effective ownership is going to be over 100% this game week. I'm absolutely sure of it. It could be something like 150% even. Joey says Sterling will haul soon. I'm sure he will. It's just hard to say whether it be Liverpool or not because he's got such a poor record against them. I don't know what it is. Maybe the fact that he used to play for them plays on his mind. Or maybe Liverpool City's approach just doesn't suit Maybe just doesn't suit him, you know, that role. Do a big haul. I reckon he could break the defender kings of the game week streak. I hope so. I can't believe how many defenders in a row we've seen. Let's have a look at the expected points for game week 23. This is from FPLreview.com. Really useful website. They basically combine Bookies Odds and you know, recent form and other data, such as the expected minutes and so on. So it's a more predictive model of points outcome than pure Bookies Odds. So I like to include this every week on the streams. Son's actually highest for expected points in game week 23 with 6.9, followed by Bruno 5.7, Bamford 5.6, then Rashford, Vardy, Antonio's up there, Aubameyang, Salah, Wilson, Werner, Watkins, and Ings. Ollie asks, you fancy Gundo over DCL? I do, but just barely. It was a really tough call. It doesn't feel right benching DCL. I play at his price, but I have to start Gundogan. You know, he's on penalties. He's in outstanding form recently. He's in the form of his life at the moment. You watch him, and he's just putting in world-class performances. So I have to start Gundogan. And Everton's expected goals recently is not great, actually. It's among the worst in the lead, worst in the league. So yeah, this is my team as it stands. I've got Stones and DCL on the bench. Brewster has left the team. Sad to say goodbye to Brewster, but he was on borrowed time. I picked him up all the way back in like game week 7. At the time I was thinking he's a perfect 3-5-2 enabler because he's bound to break into the Sheffield 11, and it's rare you get a starting striker for 4.5. We got very lucky last season with Greenwood, who was 4.5. I think he dropped all the way down to 4.3 or 4.2, Greenwood last season. Yeah, so Brewster's finally gone. Robertson's gone. So Robertson to Ben Mee, Brewster to Watkins. Benched Calvert-Lewin, benched Stones. Not sure about that. I might regret it benching DCL, but United's defence has been good and Everton's attack's been poor. That's what it came down to, and there's no one else I really would bench here. You know, as I said, Watkins, he's got Arsenal, but Arsenal missing key players in defence. So they're missing Leno, they're missing Luiz, they're missing Tierney. Salah bench. Yeah, I could have done Salah bench, but that is crazy. You can't be benching Salah, right? You can't be benching a 12.7 mil player. Surely not. Salah is Salah, you know. He could blank, as we've seen, he could blank 5-6 in a row, and you'd still back him. He's been off the ball recently, but you know he's playing at home. Mane could be back. Fabinho should be back in defence. Kabak could start centre back, so Hendo could be finally back in midfield. Alisson should be back. So I wouldn't completely rule Liverpool out this one, but it's a great game. Really looking forward to it. So let's do a few rate my teams. We'll start off with Ninja's team. So 84 points for Ninja in game week 22. Very good, very good. So let's have a look. Oh, he had Bednarek on the bench. He dodged a bullet there. Have you made any moves yet, Ninja? I mean, Tierney's out, so in a way he'd be a sensible one to move on. You could just do something like Tierney to Ben Mee, and then you've got Burnley playing Brighton at home, and you've also got him for the double game week in 24. And you could potentially start him so you don't have double City defence. Besides that, it looks really good. Really strong team. I like it. Nothing else stands out to me. Very well-rounded team. You've got Adams as well. Are you going to hold Adams for the double game week? You've got Leeds, Adams and Bednarek also with the double game week in 25. And then you've got Stones and Diaz for double game week 24. What have you got in the bank? 0 in the bank. Just thinking of potential moves. Yeah, if you did Tierney to me, then that would also enable you to do Souček to Gundogan if you wanted to triple up on City for their double game week. Solid team though. Dara asks, Captain Cresswell. God, that's a bold shout, captaining Cresswell. Very bold. But it is one of those weeks where I think captaincy is going to be quite spread out, so perhaps it's an opportunity to take a risk because you're less exposed if you get it wrong. You know, you look at Gameweek 22, Salah was so heavily captained that if you'd gone differential and Salah had hauled, you would have really been punished for it. But that's the risk you take, you know. Those who went Bruno last game week were heavily rewarded, and those of us that went Salah were punished. It depends on your rank as well and your mini league situation. You know, if you're looking for a punt to float up the ranks, then certainly someone like Cresswell. But I think I'd prefer Antonio if I was looking for a differential captain. Lucas asks, Pope or Shaw? Depends on the rest of your team. Pope's got the double game week, so I like the Pope pick. And you know, if you're planning to wildcard for the big double game week 26, then you could, you know, you can easily move Pope on by then if you wanted to. Joey asked, Chilwell to Shaw or James? Is that Chelsea's James? I'd say Shaw between the two. Like I said, Shaw's attacking stats have been just ridiculous recently. And Solskjaer brought him off early in the last game. Obviously he's first choice now, so it's his spot to lose. So I like the Shaw pick. And United's fixtures are good as well. After Everton, they've got West Brom away, Newcastle at home, so decent fixtures. Pope or Shaw? I can't remember if I answered that one just now. It does depend on your rest of your team, but I would say Pope if I'd pick between the two, because you'd think Pope would outscore Shaw over the next two at least, because Pope's got 3 games, Shaw's got 2. Shaw or Aaron Wan-Bissaka? That's a good one. If I had to pick between the two, I would go Shaw. He is a slightly more rotation risk. We have to remember as well that there's FA Cup fixtures midweek after this game week, before game week 24, so that's something to keep an eye on as well. Look at the sides they play. Hopefully we'll see Telles play for Man United in the midweek, and therefore Shaw would be first choice again in the coming game weeks, but we'll have to see. Yeah, and as Kieran points out, Shaw's on set pieces as well, so I like him for that reason too. If anyone else wants me to rate their team, feel free to chuck your ID in the chat, and I will do. We're just under 15 minutes till the deadline. There's some great fixtures this game week. Really looking forward to Liverpool v Man City. Let's have a look at Always Number One's team. 8.8 in the bank. Bloody hell. Could start your own bank with that much in the bank. 91 points in game week 22 for you. Massive score. You're up to 194k in the world. Very solid. 8.8 did you say? So you start Shaw, start Cancelo, probably start Justin, Bamford, Antonio, Watkins up top. And you've got 2 free transfers as well. God, there's nothing that really needs fixing in this team. You could upgrade McCarthy to one of the double game week keepers, or you could do Martinez to Pope. That could be your move. I can't believe how much you got in the bank, because it's a really solid team. You've got the triple City, which is perfect for the double game week. The only thing I can think of here is moving Martinez on for Pope. Pope's got the better fixture this game week, and then of course he's got the double next game week. That'd probably be what I would do. Very solid team and solid rank. James Yap, let's have a look at your team. 75 points for James in Gameweek 22. So you got Martinez, Diaz, Robertson, Stones. The problem here with the defence here is I had the same defence, and it's not ideal when you've got Diaz, Robbo, Stones all playing each other, because the best you can hope for is a 0-0, and I don't see it being a 0-0. Gundogan, Salah, Bruno, Grealish, Antonio, Calvert-Lewin, Bamford, very solid. See, what I did with this team is I moved Robertson to Ben Mee. That's one route you could go down. You've got 3.6 in the bank, so you could just start Soufal instead of Stones, for example, and then upgrade Martinez to Pope. But I think Burnley defence is the way to go. You want to have at least one Burnley defender, so you've got that coverage in double game week 24. Very strong team besides that. You've got Dallas and Bamford with the double in 25. You've got DCL who also doubles in 24. Yeah, I like it. Very strong team. Oh, Teddy's come to join the stream. Come on then, mate. Yeah, nice team, nice team. That's what I'd probably do. Hopefully that helps. Always number one. Edison was another thought. Yeah, Edison's actually an interesting one. He's quite expensive, 6.1 I think. I think he's actually risen, but Edison's a strong shout as well, because Man City could potentially have 3 doubles in the space of 4 game weeks, so he's one of the safest ones in defence. It was something I was toying around with, having like Diaz and Edison. Let's have a look at Landau's team. Sorry if I missed any in the chat. $88 points. Some massive scores in the chat here. Thinking about benching both City defenders. So who would you bench them for? Soufal, Robertson, and Dallas. It's a really tough one to call between who keeps a clean sheet, City or Robbo, or neither. I'd be leaning towards Diaz personally, but it really is a coin toss, that one. You've got 4 mil on the bank. So again, you could move Johnston or Martinez on for Pope, because both of them have got fairly tough fixtures in 23, and then you've got a route into that Burnley defence for 24. I'm personally starting Diaz, but you could get away with it. You could go Soufal, Dallas, and Robbo. You've only got 2 City, so another thing you could do in 24 is sell one of these midfielders for a City player. So perhaps you could do, can you afford? Yeah, I think you can afford Maddison to Sterling, or you could do Souček to Gundogan. But I'd be looking to bring in away into that Burnley defence, so you've got them for the double. The doubles are always an opportunity to move up the ranks if you get it right, so you have to take these opportunities. And Burnley seem like an obvious way to go, because they've got a good fixture this game week, and then they've got the double after that. And if you end up having them after that as well, then they've got West Brom at home. So 3 decent game weeks coming up for Burnley. Less than 10 minutes till the deadline. Thank you everyone that has tuned in so far. Crazy turnout. Adam 1, Adam 2, always number 1, Chianov, Gary, James, Joey, Kieran, Landau, Ninja, Only for Fun, Stuart, that's Satan, Tim, Lansdale, Vishesh, Ruchi, Zayab. Thank you all for tuning in so far. If anyone's not subbed to the channel, do hit the sub button. We go live every game week for a deadline stream, and often a post game week stream as well. Joey asked, Chilwell to Shaw or Reece James? If I had to pick between the two, it'd be Shaw. I think James is still a little bit of a risk. He should be nailed now in right wing back or right back, but you know, it's not guaranteed. So my preference would be Shaw. James obviously has better clean sheet odds this game week, but Shaw's got 3 very, very good game weeks coming up. Adam asked, DCL or Stones to bench? Have Diaz. Stones, if I was to pick between the two. I'm not convinced by having the double City, to be fair, because Liverpool need a result. It's a massive, massive game. If Liverpool can get a win, then they're still in the title race, but I think a draw or a loss, and it's going to be very, very hard for them to recover from there. Ravir asks, who should my bench be? You got McCarthy, Pope, so McCarthy on the bench, I would say. Diaz, Stones, Soufal, Robbo, Shaw. So I would start Shaw, Soufal, and Diaz. Gundogan, Bruno, Rashford, Salah, Soucek. And then Adams, Bamford, and DCL. So I would go 3-5-2 with Adams and Bamford up top. But I have to add a disclaimer, because I haven't yet this streamed, that of course I don't have a crystal ball, and I do sometimes get these decisions wrong. So don't come back on the next stream if I have given anyone the wrong advice. But that's what I would do. Like I say, I'm benching Stones myself. I'm not sure about doubling up on City defence. So Soufal comes in for me. Tim's rolled the transfer and asking who to play. Is that the right ID? Oh, it is. I typed it wrong. $72 points for Tim in Gameweek 22. Who to play? So Cancelo, Maguire, me. I would start, and then I would bench DCL, start Antonio and Bamford, and play the midfield 5. And you said transfer rolled, so you've got 2 free transfers. If you've got one to use, again, I think moving one of Martinez or Johnston on for Pope is definitely an option for you, because they've got Arsenal and Spurs respectively, so may not be a clean sheet for either of them there. Whereas Burnley have got Brighton at home, and then of course they've got the double in 24. But it does depend if you've got your wildcard as well, because you may not want to leave yourself with double Burnley defence. But if, for example, you did move Martinez for Pope, then at least you've got Johnston to rotate with Pope, so not the end of the world. Less than 5 minutes till the deadline. Pablo asks in all caps with 4 question marks, DCL or Luke Shaw? I would say Luke Shaw. But that one's a coin toss as well. But Luke Shaw, I would say. United defence has been a lot better recently, and Luke Shaw's been creating the most chances in the entire league over recent game weeks, so it'd have to be Luke Shaw for me. As you can see, I've benched DCL myself. It feels wrong to bench a player who costs that much, but that's what I've done. Let's take a look at Wabble's team. Some very, very strong teams so far on this stream. You guys have got very strong teams. So what's the question? Who do I play? So you've got Mitchell, so he's a no-go. Justin, Diaz, you'd start. So the question is target or Stones. Have you made a transfer, Babel? It'd have to be 3-4-3 again. I'm not sure about starting Smith Rowe. I'd probably start DCL over Smith Rowe, so I go 3-4-3. So it'd be exactly how you've got it here, is what I would do, but with De Gea in goal rather than Martinez. Smith Rowe first on bench, target second, is probably what I'd do, but ideally you want just a single City defence, just in case they do concede. No worries, Pablo. All good, all good. Mikel Antonio going to disappoint us all. I hope not. He was my move this week. I even was considering him for the captaincy. We saw on our Discord captain poll that he was the 3rd highest captain among those that are subscribed to FPL Focal or on the Discord. If anyone's not in the Discord, there's a link in the description. Definitely recommend joining it. One thing I forgot to mention is I found a really cool tool here, the FPL Review Season Review, and you put in your ID and it will tell you based on the data what your actual expected rank is, and you know how lucky or unlucky you've been. So there was someone on our Discord who had 99% luck, So their expected rank was something like 500k, and they were something like top 100k. So yeah, if you guys want to give this a go, there's a link in the description. You just chuck in your team ID and it will tell you your expected rank. So it's interesting to compare to your actual rank. There is like 2 minutes till the deadline, so if you want to give that tool a go, link in the description, chuck your ID in before the deadline, and I'll be interested to know what your guys' expected ranks are. So you'll see it below in the description. It's called Season Review Tool. It takes a minute to load sometimes, but it's quite an interesting tool because it's good to measure you know, whether you have been unlucky or lucky. You know, if you have been unlucky, then you know, you have to bear in mind that, you know, if it's not been going well for you, then you've been making the right decisions on paper. So perhaps you can take some comfort in that. Focal is Notre Dame, as Kieran says. What site? Only for Fun asks. Yeah, the one in the description. It's called Season Review Tool. 1 minute till the deadline, guys. Make sure you've locked in your captains, double check your team, make sure your bench is in the right order. So my bench is going to be DCL, Stones and Mitchell. Sun captain, Antonio Vice. The Flisk says, am I really benching DCL? Damn you, Gundo. That's exactly the thought process I had picking this team. But Gundo, he just doesn't feel right to be benching Gundo because he's on penalties and he's in the form of his life at the moment. I mean, I think this is his best goal scoring season ever. You know, we're in Gameweek 22, so we must be what, 2/3 through the season. So yeah, I feel like you have to start Gundo, but it's going to be an interesting game week because there's a lot of tough decisions this week. The likes of Liverpool and City playing each other, so people are unsure whether to start Robbo, whether to start the City defence or double up City defence. Wishy's called it deadline. That's it. And Only for Fun says, Antonio captain, let's go. Wuchi, Sonny Hall, let's go. Let's hope so. I'll be happy with Sonny and Antonio Hall as an owner of both. Adam says, good luck everyone, but not too much. That's very nice. That's a very lovely message. Because you want the you want some of the luck for yourself, right? Because you've had some unfortunate game weeks as of late. Pablo says, I just realised I'm in your Discord. Oh, you're already in it? Didn't even know it. Matt's got an expected rank of 932k. Actual rank 120k. Wow. So what's your luck percentage? Must be really high. Luck is on your side this season. Before anyone goes, don't forget to like the video if you have enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you're not. Really appreciate everyone that has swung by for another good deadline stream. We've got both of the Adams, Ashe, Alvin, Chanuf, El Padrino, FPL Kitty, Gary, James, Kieran, Carl, Landau, Mr. A, Only for Fun, Pablo, Ritik, Stuart, The Flisk, Wuchi. Appreciate you all being here. Hope you've enjoyed the stream. As always, the party will carry on our Discord, which is in the description. We'll all be on there throughout this game week, throughout today for the fixtures. I will call it a day there. Won't stick around too long. But it has been a really enjoyable stream, so I really appreciate everyone for swinging by. Hopefully you've enjoyed the content, and as I say, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And good luck in this game week, and I'll see you guys on the Discord and the next stream.